Well, it's almost like we never left, gentlemen, other than Ellis decided to take a nap. He's on the East Coast. He decided to go to bed. But the best part about this is basically we've already all hit the pick six on Saturday at Santa Anita because there's a carryover. We all hit the big three, pick three several times. So let's move right into Sunday. Gino, coast to coast, pick five. First is adding a little seed money here to the kitty. So what are we looking at?
Yeah, it's been so successful that they're going to put $100,000 in as a thank you to all the folks. They were going to do that last week, but Santa Anita canceled some racing because of the weather. So extra $100,000 right off the bat. Remember, it's a 15% low takeout. It'll be bouncing back and forth between Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park. This particular sequence is all turf that we're going to be talking about on Sunday. And DRF actually gives you free pass performances for the sequence as well. So, yeah, this is a challenging one. I'm excited to discuss it.
Yeah, very challenging and very interesting, Skip. It's almost like the carryover days. You got to play when they seed this much money into something. It's always, we talk about the coast to coast every week, and the payouts are terrific. This has all the makings to pay very handsomely, Skip.
Yes, it does. And I want to hit this thing. My ticket got a little expensive, so I might be looking for a partner, but hopefully I got it narrowed down and got the winners, but I'm looking forward, and they're adding that 100,000 seed money in there. So that'll be great. We're going to have great weather. So let's hit one of these things. Can we?
Let's do it. So this sequence will have actually 4 races from Santa Anita and 1 race from Gulfstream. So Gino, we started off in race 3 at Santa Anita. Allowance, and it's down the hill. One of the races we always love to talk about. What are your thoughts here in this first leg?
This is a difficult race because I don't know who's getting the lead in here. I was having such a difficult time trying to figure out who gets the lead. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure I use the few horses that I think will be close to the lead or at least have a shot. That would be the 4, I'll Have Another Kiss. That would be the 7, Proof She Zips. That would be the 8, Hey Demps in the mix. So those 3, I think, just by process of elimination of being close, they're going to be in the mix for me. The 9, Love in the Pavels, was very impressive at Gulfstream. And then the 1 is probably the best horse in the race, but may not get the trip. This is a horse who's going to go second start off the bench, coming off a 10-month layoff. So I thought this was the most challenging race in the sequence. I'm going to be as deep as I am in any leg here because I just can't quite figure out the pace dynamics as well as I can in most other races, as well as I think I can in most other races. It's a better way to put it. So for me, 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to be 6 deep. I will have a single coming up, though, a little bit later on.
6 deep for Gino to start. And Skipper, what are your thoughts here?
I'm going to go 4 deep. And 4 of them Gino's using. I'm going to use the 1. I'm going to use Proof She Zips, the 7. Hey Demps. Gino, you were asking who you think is going to be on the lead. I think Hey Demps is going to go to the lead. I love the way that she won her last race going a mile. Mike Pipey has been on fire lately, and we always pull for him. He's a great guy. I think Hey Demps is going to lead. I got to use Love the Pavels. This horse shipping in from Gulfstream Park. I love the outside post there. So I'm going to go 1, 7, 8, 9 in here.
1, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like you guys said, Hey Demps, cutting back. We've always talked about those horses going a mile, showing speed, cutting back. Mike Pipey's been on absolute fire lately, and that's a very interesting horse at 3-1. And like you gentlemen said, the difficult part of this race is who is the speed, right?
Because then they look and do what we're doing, and all 4 of those horses who have a little bit of speed go, hey, I'm going to be a little aggressive today and make sure I'm the one, and then they all go, and it sets up for the 1, Yeah. So that's what does make, because nobody is so for sure need the lead type horse that that is their guaranteed best way of running. It's challenging.
Very tricky to start here, and we always love the down the hills, but when you don't know, we always say the pace makes the race. When you don't know who's going to be on the lead, it just makes it very interesting. So let's move on. The second leg is the 1 race at Gulfstream Park, race 9 at Gulfstream, going a mile and 16th on the turf. Skip, what are your thoughts here?
Okay, I'm going to use the one for sure, Smithwick Spice. This horse, man, look at those times at Tampa Bay Downs, going 5 furlongs, 21-1, 43-4, 55-4, showing some gabeness. This horse is 8 years old, 40 starts. It's got 10 wins and 10 second place finishes, 13 starts on the grass, 6 wins, 4 starts going a distance. It's got 2 wins and 2 seconds. The one's going to be on my ticket. And what I like about him, I think that horse is obviously the speed of the race going that quick in that sprint. But if there's a couple other horses that are need the lead types in here, and if they do decide to go, the one has also shown in the past it could take hold. It's very tactical. So the one is going to be on my ticket. I got to use the 4, Eyes on Target. This horse loves Gulfstream Park. Last time it ran 5th, beating a couple lengths. The race before it won, and it ran in a real good time, a 139 flat for a mile and 16th on the grass. The 4, it's 5-2. That's going to be on my ticket. Space Launch is another one that's going to be on my ticket at 6-1. D'Angelo does a very good job. This horse isn't the biggest win machine, 19 starts, 3 wins, but it's got a couple races. If they do go fast up front, this horse should get a great trip and could come and get him at the wire. And then the last one I'm going to put on my ticket is Carruthers, the 8 horse, 10-1. Martin Drexler's having a great meet over there. He's he's got all his horses usually at Woodbine, but for the winter he comes out, races him at Gulfstream. And this horse has got some back class. It's 6 years old. It's 27 or 23 starts, 7 wins. It hasn't won on the grass yet, but it's not because it doesn't like the grass. Those were good grass races he comes out of, and he's bred for the grass. So I'm going to go 4 deep in here. The only other one that I might mention and put on the ticket would be the 8-year-old Running with Scissors. But for sure, I'm going 1, 4, 6, 8.
1, 4, 6, 8 for Skip. Gino, any thoughts? Any different opinions here?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I'm 1, 4, 6. The 1's the speed. The 4's the most proven closer. The 6 should get more pace to chase in here. Not a win machine, but rarely runs a bad race. 1, 4, 6 for me.
1, 4, 6, very similar to Skip in the second leg. So we move on to the third leg, and we are back down the hill once again in the John Shear. Nice to see a race named after John Shear, the legendary John Shear, going down the hill once again. Race 5 at Santa Anita. Skip, your thoughts here?
I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to single. I mean, it's not a shot. The horse, I don't have the morning lines, but I'm sure it's probably favored. But I like the 4 Heart Headed. This horse has won 2 out of 4 starts. It ran down the hill in the Baffle Stakes and ran very good. This horse ran very good that day. It got beat by Stay Hot. We all know how good Stay Hot is, Peter Urton's horse. That horse is a win machine. This horse didn't even think he lost. When they were at the wire, Stay Hot caught him right at the wire. This horse galloped back out in front of Stay Hot. I love that he's got that race over the track down the hill. The only other one that I thought in this race is the one King of Gosford, but that horse won on the flat going 6 furlongs. It was very impressive that day. But sometimes if these horses haven't ran down the hill, they get a little confused or whatever crossing that dirt. Since Heart Headed already won or ran down the hill, I'm going to single Heart Headed in here. I loved the way that it came back on the 10th and worked, and on the 31st. So I'm going to single here, number 4, Heart Headed.
Gino, I'm too deep. I can't throw one out.
I'm also too deep. I have a different horse. The only thing that concerns me a little bit about the race is that Heart Headed is for sure the horse to beat. What I like is that he sat off last time out.
Right.
Sometimes when horses get in trouble and they're behind, the next time they try to get a little more aggressive. And if that happens in this race, like I trust Juan Hernandez, absolutely. But if he does do that, there is a lot of other speed in here. And that's the only thing that worries me. So I threw in the 2, Miracle Mark, because I think if there's a version of this race where the 1 is going, the 3, Raging Torrent, is close up, the 4 doesn't want to be too far out of it, the 5 is going to be right on the lead, the 6, Nesso's Lazareth, is going to be on the lead, Practically Broke is going to be on the lead. There could be a version of this race where all of those horses are close, and Miracle Mark is able to sit a little behind them, cutting back from a mile like we just talked about. So I think that will give that horse the opportunity to pass some horses in here. I'm gonna use the 2 and the 4.
So we're all a little slightly different. We all agreed, obviously, the 4 is the horse to beat. Probably be what, 4 to 5 even money. I tag along with the 1, and Gino adds the 2, and Skipper going with the single here. So very interesting approach, kind of all looking at it the same way, and we'll see how it shakes out. A couple of races down the hill, which is very nice. All right, now we move on to race 7 at Santa Anita. We're going 6 furlongs on the turf. I can't wait to hear. I'm going to go last in here. To me, well, almost every horse in this race ran together the last time out.
9 of them. So if you want, 9 of the horses, 9 of them come out of the same race.
Yeah,
they all
and there were some very interesting trips in here. The 2 favorites are the 2 horses that have not ran on the turf. Gino, are there prices? I'm all over the place here, but I got some bombs that I'm going to use. So
it's funny because this is totally not my type of thing to do. I'm singling the 11. I think everybody that comes out of that same race, I don't want. Everyone. I didn't love it. I don't like, can some of them step forward? Sure. The problem is they were all so similar to me that if I'm using one of those horses out of that race, I have to use Club Teaser, Have Patience, Jane Kendai, and maybe one other. So then I'm using 4, and I'm looking at Bit's Tiger Magic. The horse is drawn to the outside. They have no choice what they're going to do. They can't try to sit off or take back. They're just going to have to send hard. This horse's dam, Magic School, was a 3-time winner on the turf. She has 4 siblings that tried the turf. One of them only tried it 1 time, so it's tough to really get a gauge at. The other 3, 4-time winner on the turf, 4-time winner on the turf, horse who raced 9 times, never won, but was second 5 times. So that shows me that all those horses really like the grass. So she's already run a better race than anyone else in this field in her debut. She has more speed than anyone else, and she actually has the right to step forward in this race with the grass. So the chalk zone, the all chalk zone, that's where I'm going in this race. Chalk dust for me, baby. I'm singling the 11.
Well, I mean, I like your thoughts because if you, like you said, you're tossing that entire race, and then you're going to a horse that you just said all the breeding points to turf, and B, they bet this horse off the screen at odds on first time out. So obviously the word was out there. Skip, what are your thoughts?
Yes, I like the 11 for all the reasons that Gino said: the breeding, the speed, the outside post. JJ Hernandez jumping aboard for Pratt. They bet it way down first time out. But, since it's on the way outside, if a couple other these horses decide to maybe go and start shoving, this horse could get a wide trip. And that's why I'm going to use a couple others in here. One of the ones I'm going to use is the 3, Annie Fox. This horse had a brutal trip last time. I don't know if this horse could win, but I love the trip. Emily Ellingwood jumps back aboard. I don't always bet her, but I'm not going to let that deter me. I'm still using it. I'm going to put number 4, Have Patience in. This horse ran sneaky good last time. On the turn, it looked like it was trying to get out. It had trouble turning for home, as a few other ones did. And the horse galloped out real good. So the 4 is going to be on my ticket. They take the blinkers off. Doug O'Neill, Dougie Fresh, he's been doing very good this meet. He's been on fire. I'm going to use the 6, Breezy Blue. This horse also had a troubled trip, as most of those coming out of that same race did. But I liked that one, Breezy Blue. And then the one that I don't think a lot of people are going to use is the 7, Pippa Philippa. This horse for Michael McCarthy, he's doing great. He's one of our good buddies. This horse it almost ran to me like he needed the race. Like they just kind of gave it one. It just was a work or 2 short. Let's get it in there. Let's give it a race. Rispoli jumps aboard, which I love. So I'm going to go 3, 4, 6, 7, and 11 in here, 5 deep.
3, 4, 6, 7, 11. Gino's going to single. I'm just going to mention three prices out of that race. 2 of them Skip has mentioned already. My top pick in the race is the 6 Breezy Blue. It was very sneaky. I think this horse was well meant first time out. Adam Kitchingman, very sneaky with these type of horses. The horse just never got comfortable and looked like had run throughout the entire race and just didn't have anywhere to go. And I think this horse at 8-1 is a must use. My second pick, or at least price play would use that no one has mentioned, is the 2 Club Teaser, who is off slow and actually flew home late. And I think with the connections not being big name connections, this is going to be a very big price.
Yeah.
And I think it's too difficult to overlook.
That was the one that I took out of that race the most. I took the 2. If I was going to use one other, that was the one that to me stood out with the trouble.
Yeah. And the third one Skip mentioned, who had even more trouble, I thought that he had said was the 4 Have Patience. This horse was steadied several times, never had anywhere to go. And I just think at 12-1, 12-1, and 8-1, if you're going to use horses out of that race, you got to use the prices. So,
and it is.
And I get where you're coming with your single there, Gino. What's that?
It is worth mentioning the 10's out, which does draw in the 12's in for sure. Epione, who if you printed the PPs early, that horse might have been an AE, but the 12's in for sure because the 10's out.
So very interesting race and a couple different ways to go there. Let's move on to the final leg of the sequence. And what do you know? We're going down the hill again, which we all love. And this race, the Angels Flight, race 9 at Santa Anita. Skipper, very interesting race once again to close this out. What are your thoughts in here?
It is. It's tough, and I need to find a partner to play this ticket. But I'm going to play it a little bit bigger. Maybe I could just get somebody to buy a piece of it. I'm going to play a big ticket because all the money that's going to be in there, and I think this thing could really pay. All that being said, I'm going to use the 1. She is Romantic. This horse ran really good last time. Got beat 3/4 of a length, but it had trouble. Peter Urton's having a good meet. I use everything that, when Arch is in the breeding, I use for the grass. That horse, Arch, loves the lawn. So I'm using the 1. I'm going to use the 2, Rascality. This horse by Mandelli, he's got 2 in here. But, boy, they gave it time. They brought it back in February from September 10th. And that horse just loved the grass. I mean, it went wire to wire. It went drawing away. Money Mike Smith jumps aboard. I don't know if it was the time off that did this horse good or if it was the grass. I'm hoping both, but I love the way that horse won that race. Another one I have to use is Alluring. Arch is on the dam side, Go Sapper on the top. This horse first out had trouble and ran good, got beat 3/4 of a length, came back at Santa Anita on New Year's Day and won by 3 lengths, won very impressively. They put it right into a stakes race of Sweet Life. It had trouble. It got disqualified, but it ran good. I got to use the 3. I'm going to use 2 other ones in here. One of them is going to be this. I think it's number 7, La Lune. How do you say that, Gino?
Lune. It's a city in France, like a French commune. I think it's just pronounced like Lune.
Lune. Okay.
I knew Gino would know.
I can't speak English. How am I going to speak French?
He has a villa there in Lune.
I summer over there occasionally,
Okay. Anyways, this horse comes out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies Juvenile Turf and got bet. I mean, it was 16-1 that day. So they obviously like this horse a little bit. I like the way that it worked on April 1st. It raced against Stronghold, who's going to be in the Santa Anita Derby, and worked good. Coming off the break, I don't worry about that with D'Amato. He's very good with that and on the grass. And then the last one I'm going to use is the 8, Antiphona. Told you I couldn't speak English. But I like the race that this one comes out of. It comes out of that Medoro race, Peter Urton's horse that I'm very high on. That's a nice horse for Peter Urton. This horse won coming down the hill. I don't think this horse wants to go 2 turns. I think this is more of a late running sprinter, and I love the way that she won coming down the hill in the Sweet Life Stakes. So all that being said, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8.
Okay, so I'm going to go next, Gino, because I have Skip's going 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. I have 2 A's in here, but I am going to. Sometimes you got to pick your spots in single. My single is going to be a horse Skip is not using at all. So, if you go back, and that day on February 11th in the Sweet Life, I was 2 deep, and that was Antifona and Zona Verde, and they ran 1-2. And they were both prices at 7-1 and 10-1. So it was a very nice way to cap off the day that day. But if you go back and watch that replay, Zona Verde was destroyed mid-stretch and somehow, almost from a stop, re-rallied and was gaining on Antifona. And I'm going to take the stand here and think that Zona Verde turns the tables here. And that will be, I'm 6'8". Obviously, the 7, who's the morning line favorite, who knows, bred to be something special, ran in the Breeders' Cup.
She's a group stakes winner. I mean, that's the thing that's a little scary about her. She never ran a bad race before that race, right? And so that's a little.
This is a tricky spot, so I'm going to take my shot, and I'm going to single Zona Verde with Antifona. I mean, the 7 would be my third choice, and there are other ones, but I'm going to single here. Skipper, just throw that on. You got a deep ticket. Just use one more.
You just made my ticker a little bit more, Chappie. Thanks a lot, buddy.
My only worry with Zona Verde is that I played her last time for the same reasons you said. Right? She had a ton of that trouble 2 back. I almost thought that last time was her race. Now, she lost to a nice horse. That doesn't mean that she can't just continue and come back to the hill and run well. But I almost thought that was her spot last time to play her back in that race. And I actually, in that very same race, Chappie, I thought the 3 had the most brutal trip of all of them. Alluring, who was inside, was about 2 lengths off and was in some traffic, was behind horses, was always traveling well, and just had absolutely nowhere to go. And she sort of had to keep backing up a little bit and try to work her way to the side of this one horse and then through, and she was in and out and weaving. And it was a really good effort that day. She ends up winning the battle for 3rd. She gets DQ'd because she was trying to force her way out. She was behind horses and she was looking for room. So she was good that day, and they've given her plenty of time since. And she complements the other Mandela pretty well, because I think the other Mandela is going. I completely agree with Skippy. Rascality's debut was excellent behind Laurent, and then everybody played her back in her second start, and then something goes wrong because she's off from the end of last year all the way to this year, and then she shows back up. There was a 3-5 favorite in that race that day. It was not her. And on paper, it did not look like she was going to get the lead at all. It looked like there was a faster horse than her. She put that horse away early. And then we've already seen the 3rd place finisher come back and win the opener yesterday on the card, Paradise Lake. So that race is pretty strong. I'm going to probably end with 237. I did a preview for DRF. My ticket was $108, ending with 237 here. So affordable, something you could take a swing with. And I think I had horses ending that I'll have a speed, maybe a horse sitting in the middle with Alluring, and then maybe the 7 Loon coming from, way back or a little bit farther back. Also, you get a horse like this who they come over and they put in the Breeders' Cup. And now they've had, 4 months to be in the D'Amato barn, to get acclimated to everything over here at Santa Anita, to be sitting here on this track, getting used to everything. I'm just expecting a much better effort from this horse against this field than against the field in the Breeders' Cup.
I was just hoping there was something we could see, right? We haven't seen anything. We like to all watch the works on XBTV. There was nothing, and I was dying to see that. So it's kind of the unknown other than the form. Go ahead, Skip. Yep.
Well, there was only the April 1st work was on there on the Tapeta.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
on XBTV, and that horse worked with Stronghold, that's
Oh.
running in the Santa Anita Derby. So there was one work on XBTV of it.
Maybe because it was on the Tapeta, I didn't look. I will go back. But I'm going to stick with my single, and neither of you have it on the ticket.
No, that's the separator race right now. It looks like
we shall part ways in the finale. Hopefully, we're all alive and somebody hits. So
we haven't hit one of these yet. I mean, the only one that I hit, I lost money on. So we are way overdue, and let's hit it Saturday or Sunday. With that seed money. But first, let's hit the pick 6 tomorrow at Santa Anita, and let's hit the pick 3, coast to coast pick 3 with all the big races. So I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Pick 3 on Saturday. We got the Santa Anita carryover, 12 races at Santa Anita, including the Santa Anita Derby, obviously. And then Sunday, the $100,000 seeded coast to coast, Gino. Can't ask for anything more.
And don't forget the Pick'em contest, totally free. You can play those. And then it's the Santa Anita Derby Challenge, a $1,500 betting contest that you can play live at Santa Anita or through ExpressBet. You can qualify for the NHC for next year. Tons of money and NHC seats and seats to future to future big tournaments. So I've got a list of about 25 things tomorrow that I'm getting involved in. So I'll send it on over to you guys just so we got a memo on everything we're playing.
I might just sleep here and see you tomorrow, Gino. Here
exactly.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much. Go ahead, Skip.
No, it's okay. There's just so many races to bet, so many great races, so many great cards everywhere. I mean, I've been studying all day, and I'll be up all night studying and be up right early studying again in the morning. There, so many opportunities tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to the weekend.
15 stakes between the 3 tracks, 5 for each of the tracks with the prep races. So just right there alone, you'll have some quality and some quantity.
Well, you can always join us again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific on the Morning Line Sports Show. That's AM 830 or AM830.net or TML AM 830 on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. And we'll talk a little bit more with some other guests about all the races on Saturday. And then, of course, we have Sunday to look forward to as well. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Good luck,
we'll talk to you next week.